So we are looking at the causes of depression in children. Again, as I said, especially in the African setup, we imagine children do not feel, they do not have a mind of their own, they are there to be seen and not to be heard. And this kind of way we look at children then affects them largely because we do not look at them as beings that are growing by themselves, that need care, concern, and consideration. So some of the causes of depression in children are, let me talk about the medical ones, or the ones we call biological, that can be dealt with from a medical point of view. But apart from those ones, if a child was born by a mother who was depressed during pregnancy, or who had a traumatic birth, the birth that was very complicated, and around it probably she labored for so long, or even postpartum depression, there is a high likelihood that that child is going to develop depression because of the emotions that were passed by the mother, either in pregnancy or during birth or after birth care. So if there is history of those three, then this parent needs to be equipped very much so that they can offer more safety. And by offering more safety, they may heal the child from this emotional transmission. So this way, a child may not get depressed. But if they continue with the environment that is not very safe, because probably the mother is depressed, then there's a likelihood of the child suffering depression. So that is one cause. The cause would be transmission from the parent before birth, in birth, or after birth. The other cause would be the traumatic situations that happen to a child. Now, this one would be either the parent died at a young age, or also there was relocation, or there were heavy financial burdens happening on the parents, and the home was very, very chaotic. And so what the child was receiving at that point was lack of safety, or also that the home had some level of domestic violence, or even that the relationship between the parents is very conflicted. These kind of situations cause a lot of harm because the environment is very insecure. It is like a child existing in a war zone where they are hearing gunshots and they are aware that they are likely to be killed anytime. Imagine of yourself as an adult being in a war zone when you know you can be killed anytime. This is heavily stressful. Of course, you are likely to be depressed. That is what children experience when the environment is very unsafe, like violence, or there's a lot of alcoholism or any other kind of drug abuse at home. And the parents are very conflicted. They are constantly fighting or quarreling. These kind of situations pass very negative emotions on the child, and it affects the child largely. The other causes of depression in children could be a prolonged illness or medical procedures. So these ones also cause a lot of stress to the child because of the pain and, you know, the uncertainty, the almost living again in uncertain situations as a child. That does cause the emotional stress and can be a cause of depression. We have other causes of depression, such as a child who has learning disabilities and they are constantly feeling that they are not good enough because they are not able to catch up with their peers. This is a constant stressor and can cause depression. Other causes are social disabilities. When a child is not even able to relate to the peers, when they are struggling, when they are being discriminated by their peers for whatever reason, this child can develop depression because they are constantly feeling that they are not good enough, that there's something wrong with them. Now, this also is coupled together with bullying. A child who has been bullied loses themselves. They lose their self-esteem. They feel like something is very, very wrong with them. There are other causes of depression in children, like when a child has no skill. A child does not know how to play, does not know how to speak for themselves, does not know how to incorporate others, and because of lacking of skill, they feel less competent. We discussed this, as we said, in one of the developmental stages, that if children learn skills, they feel competent about themselves. When a child is feeling constantly incompetent, then they go down the road of feeling like there's something very wrong with them, and that does cause depression. So with these causes, one of the major ones that we cannot over-explain is parents being absent and uninvolved with the child. Remember, we said between 0 to 3 years, this is the space where children learn to feel safe in the environment because their parents are present. And when parents are absent and uninvolved, then children feel like they are existing in their own world. That is already isolation as they process it. And you know, the child feels constantly that there's something wrong with me. In the child's mind, they do not interpret that my parents are busy and they have to work. The child interprets that there's something wrong with me. That is why no one cares for me. Now, that is a child who is already prone to depression. And those are some of the causes that we can look at so that we eliminate depression as we move along. So at this point, I need to say there's no shame in seeking help. When you realize that a loved one, yourself, or even someone close by is suffering, there's no shame in seeking help. Actually, seeking help is a sign of strength and not weakness. So there's help available, there's treatment available, and someone can get better. There is no shame in seeking help. If you need help or you know someone who does, leave a comment below and we will get back to you.